Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is Two Girls, One Ticket with Lauren and Brogan. Sorry for missing last week. I was out of town, but we are glad to be back and we've got a lot to cover. Brogan is currently in Orange County,
Orange County, California, out here representing beautiful 75-degree weather.
home away from home. I know beautiful weather out there. Saw it from all your runs, and it is finally feeling like fall here, which I'm so excited about. Little sweater weather.
That's what I'm most looking forward to. I can tell you my first summer out in Texas, and it's not for the weak.
It is not, but this going into November, December, best time of the year. So you'll be back for
Heard
the
that.
best part.
Yep.
We have a lot to catch up on. We're going to do a little bit of backtracking since we missed last week. And then obviously so much to cover from this past week. We're going to cover Brian Kelly getting fired, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, and the fans' reaction at the Dodgers game. NBA gambling saga, Justin Herbert's girlfriend, Madison Beer, who's all over the place now. Of course, World Series, F1, Breeders' Cup, and then our usual NFL, NBA, and college football.
Love a lineup.
It is. It sure is. And glad you all are here for it. So let's get started. And I know this is something that you and I both are passionate about. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry sitting in probably the most prominent seats at Game 4 of the World Series in front of Magic Johnson, in front of Sandy Koufax, instead of front of all of these people wearing their LA Dodger hats proudly.
Privacy, please, though. That's what they
Privacy,
request.
please. Yes. Do not show us, but put us right here in our Dodgers hats, in our matching outfits, and let's just hear what all of the fans have to say about it.
I heard there was some booze going on, or
Big boos, booed by
big
the
booze.
crowd. So many questions of how did they get these seats? They be sitting there? Obviously, Megan was born in LA, raised in LA. She lived in Toronto for a while filming Suits, and they live in Montecito. So they do have, a reason to be wearing Dodger hats and representing, but it's really interesting to see. I mean, have you ever seen them before at a Dodgers game or a Blue
Nope,
Jays game?
nope. Just
Because
some
I
normal
hadn't.
only folks going to the baseball game, you know?
Yeah, by way of the UK.
Yeah.
And then I did actually see, I guess it was a picture from 2015 of Meghan Markle wearing a Blue Jays hat. And then, of course, everyone's up in arms of, okay, she's a bandwagon fan. Then there was other pictures of her wearing a Yankees hat, which I get. I wear hats from different teams. I'm not just a one team person, but it's LA. They're there, maybe showing loyalty, but they could have easily been wearing Blue Jay hats. And by the way, Canadians are very unhappy with the hat choice, especially because Harry's father is technically the head of state of Canada, and Harry is fifth in line to rule Canada. Maybe show some love for the Toronto Blue Jays.
I mean, they're the most unagreeable or actually person, Meghan Markle, I would have to say. Yeah, it's really, really hilarious to watch them out and about and normal folks requesting privacy, and it's actually comical.
Right. And then they show up here, and I cannot stand her. And that would be a whole
No, I can't
nother
either.
rant. I mean, I absolutely think in my top 5 people that just I cringe when I listen to her, see her. I just have never seen a more, I'm almost going to say like chameleon person, which again, not
Mhm.
keeping true to her, Toronto, Yankees, Dodgers is to me on par with what I think about her and the way that she just changes her narrative and her image to fit whatever she's trying to do at that time.
Yeah, no, and I read Daily Mail pretty much every morning, and they like to flood the news with articles about her, and I just refuse to even click on it because it's just clickbait. It gives her more attention, and that's something I'm not willing to do. So, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, even going back to when she we're going to take it back. You're going into the royal family. You know there are going to be expectations. You know that there's certain protocol. You know that there's etiquette, there's attire, there's royal duties. There are things that you are signing up for, and you are very well aware of that in advance. I feel like she never fit that role well. Her mission, obviously, was to get out of that, pull Harry out of that. Again,
yeah,
fake from the start, in my opinion.
yeah.
And then she had a recent interview saying she had to wear nude pantyhose all the time, and how, let's be honest, it's not really myself. I hadn't seen pantyhose since the 80s when they came in an egg. Okay, that's kind of funny, but you also knew that you were going to have to do that. Do you see Kate Middleton complaining? And I,
No.
by the way, have never seen somebody as put together and as on point as Kate Middleton. And I mean, Michael didn't even hold a candle to her. And then she's complaining that that's not her and not how she wanted to live. Okay, well, then maybe don't marry into the royal family. She's just so fake to me.
Yeah, I think that's super offensive. I don't even know what her angle is because requesting privacy, but then going and sitting right behind Magic Johnson, like at that one of the biggest, baseball games right now, like that's just absurd. So I have
Yeah, just
not
another not good look for them and not
yeah.
good press for people that have just kind of stirred their own pot, created their own narrative. Harry's Harry, and I mean, I understand that's probably not the easiest life. He's been through a lot, not judging her and her life either. But to just go into somebody's very prominent family, you're going to be scrutinized no matter what. But then to just pull him out of that, get him tied up in it, I just feel like it was bad.
What was that video that she had just posted recently where she was crossing the bridge where Princess Diana had passed
Yes,
away
and
and
just
seeing
so
her
insensitive, and
feet?
she does nothing to help
Literally.
herself.
Okay, even if you just don't agree with the royal family and how they maybe operate, the fact that you would be disrespectful to your husband's dead mother is telling of the type of person she is.
Right, I don't know if this is right or not, but I had read that obviously they had met through friends on a blind date, but that she, had a similar watch of Diana that she always wore, and then she would wear a similar perfume to what his mom
Yeah.
wore. That to me is just so calculated. And again, she is an
Yeah.
actress, so maybe that's just what she does. But I cannot find one thing genuine about her. And yes, she does good things and she does, help her. You can't fault somebody for that. But to me, it's just all for show. It's not, nothing about it is genuine. And at the end of the day, I just cannot stand her and like you. And then now it's the World Series and you show up to this game in the most highly desired seats and you like out of
I saw
nowhere.
tickets were going for like 300 grand. Like
I mean,
absurd.
unbelievable. There's a lot of other people that could have been sitting in those seats that would have been a better pick, but
100%. No, and I'll just add one more thing because we'll get off this rant about her because I know it's not all about Meghan Markle. But what was that show that she did? And I didn't even watch it, but was scrolling through TikTok one day, and then one of the clips came up from it, and she was talking like she was cooking. One of her friends were an actress. I'm forgetting her name, but she was just like, "Oh, Meghan Markle, you're like so great, blah blah." And she's like, "Ha ha ha! Why do you keep calling me Markle? You know my name's Sussex." And it's like, wait, what? You decided to
right, you
opt
wanted
out
to
of
leave
that?
that. Mhm.
Yeah, and now
But
you're
doesn't
coming
want all
back.
the titles dropped for her or her children or anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
plays on
No,
things whenever she
that's
wants to
when it
play. Again,
matters.
it's her narrative. Yeah. Okay, back to sports. Brian Kelly getting absolutely roasted after officially getting fired after losing to A&M. And again, we've called it before. He was on our list of annoying figures in college football. His record at LSU for the past 4 years was 34 wins, 14 losses. It's not a terrible record overall, and he's gone. So Scott Woodward, the athletic director for LSU, said that the level of success didn't ever materialize and that the program expected multiple SEC championships, national championships, and he just didn't meet that mark. And at the end of the day, a lot of fans and people involved just did not think that he met the culture of LSU, culture of Baton Rouge, culture
Even with his fake accent.
of the school. Exactly, even with the fake accent did not help. But after watching that, I couldn't believe the way that he was interacting with the other coaches during that A&M game. I mean, he was yelling at them after every single play as if it was their problem. He's the head coach at the end of the day, and there's a lot of other things that go into these players doing their job essentially. And he's yelling at all the coaches. A terrible, terrible look.
Yeah. No, I think he was projecting a little bit there, so knew the
So
writing was on the
he
wall.
exactly, and he knew that there was a lot on the line, probably was angry, but still, just keep it together. Second largest buyout in college football history, $53.8 million. Like we said, cushy job to be a fired
Fired coach.
college football coach. Yes, and then Jimbo Fisher still setting the bar at 76.8 million, which adds to our buyout totals for the just this year, 107, almost $168 million in total buyout money for these coaches. And then on top of that, so the current athletic director, Scott, hired Jimbo Fisher at A&M and then Brian Kelly at LSU, totaling $130 million, two of the biggest buyouts ever, and he still has his job. Interestingly enough, it sounds like the governor of Louisiana was somehow involved in the firing and now saying that Scott Woodward won't have a big say in hiring the next coach. I don't know if it's true or not. Did you see that?
I did not know.
Yeah, and then I saw a clip of Urban Meyer speaking to it and saying that he had contacted people in government roles in Louisiana and friends of his just to check the validity of it. And it sounded like he seemed to think that that was true. And he was kind of questioning of how does the governor overstep his role essentially? And doesn't he have other things to focus on other than the LSU hiring and firing of coaches, and that he was kind of disappointed by it? And again, I don't know the total validity, but there must be some about it if it's coming out from multiple sources. And then, he reached out to even think about it further, because that is kind of interesting.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. The other day, Adam and I were actually having a happy hour over at Dean's Italian Steakhouse, and we love their happy hour, but we started chatting with the folks next to us, and it turned out to be a longtime fire marshal in Baton Rouge. And we ended up talking for a couple hours. He ended up giving Adam his business card and said, whatever you need in Louisiana, like Baton Rouge specifically. It sounds like very close-knit community where
Totally.
the government and things kind of oversee the entire operations of the city and the school and things like that. But yeah, that is
And I
interesting.
think that's exactly right, but it's probably part of that, and they all wanna be involved, and it obviously does bring such a light and so much money to the state, so it is a big deal, but it's just odd. And then I also heard that the majority of the buyout was going to be paid for by a single donor. Also don't know if that's 100% true, but like we said, oftentimes the money doesn't come directly from the athletic department. There's so many politics involved, and a lot of it times it does come from donors or donor pools. So that's again another interesting piece. If somebody, again, politics involved, that's a massive donor to the school, wants the coach out and they're going to pay for it. Okay. Oh, you can see it that being a route out too. I love John Gruden. I just think he's hilarious. And I even liked him as a coach. But I also heard about a little clip of him speaking to all the firing of these coaches and how he doesn't like it. And he thinks that it's happening too quickly. It's not even November, and the college football landscape is just really hard to navigate right now with portal transfers, NIL, establishing a culture within these programs. Expectations are high, but it's November. And I kind of agree with that. I mean, they not that everyone can just flip it around now for the remainder of the season after, major losses, and I'm sure there's other behavioral things and things involved, but there's a lot of turnover this season in coaches.
Yeah, I think everything's up in the air right now. So
So much up in the air. It'll be interesting to see where everybody lands. And then meme of the week, which is on point with this topic, the Spirit Halloween pack. Have you seen those? They like make them all the time,
I
like memes
love
of different
them.
things. I think they're hilarious. And one I saw was Spirit Halloween pack. Brian Kelly comes with a 50 million plus buyout, fourth down confusion playbook, and then it said did not include fake Southern accent and accountability after losses, and of course had him on the cover with his LSU gear on. I thought it was pretty funny.
No, that's epic. I love those.
Pretty good one. Okay, also on the sidelines everywhere at all the prominent LA events, not just Chargers games, but World Series, courtside at the Lakers, Madison Beer. I had never heard
Who?
of her in my entire life. Obviously now dating Justin Herbert. Did you know her or anything about her?
I heard of her previously. She just due to the fact that she dated one of my friends from college, and then I looked into her, and she had millions of followers, and I was like, "Who is this girl, and how is she so popular?" And I had no idea who she was.
Had to dig a little deeper myself. So she's 26 years old, an American singer, songwriter slash model, born in New York, typical story. 40 million Instagram followers. And I
Oh,
guess she
that's
got
cool.
her start by posting cover songs on YouTube. And Justin Bieber tweeted a link to one of her covers. And then she was signed by
Oh,
Scooter Braun, has received, I think, 2 Grammy nominations. So it has to be
wow. I
talented.
thought
But
she
I
was
know,
just
but
a
I've never,
rapper.
I have never ever had heard of her. She's been involved in fashion collaborations, cosmetic collaborations, actually performed at this year's Victoria's Secret fashion show. Um,
Really? Because I didn't watch the full live version, but did watch a lot of clips off of, TikTok and scrolling and reels and things like that. And I did not see one clip of her singing.
she did. By the way, that fashion show was so low budget compared to any of the other production. And same thing, I did not watch it in full, but we were watching it because we wanted to see Angel Reese and we wanted to see how
Oh,
it all. And I
yeah.
had just from the clips that I saw, I had no interest in seeing any more than that. But anyway, so now she's dating Justin Herbert, Chargers
Okay.
quarterback. She's been attending the Chargers games, been spotted all over LA. They were at the Chargers Halloween party in West Hollywood with coordinating costumes last weekend, courtside at Lakers. And then Monday night, they were sitting with Justin and Haley Bieber, which I guess makes sense
Oh.
if, that was the original connection and then being signed by Scooter Braun. But I think it's interesting how the media will pick up on one girlfriend, wife, whoever, and just focus on them. It's they're like get fixated on it and then it turns to the next relationship. And it's just
Well, I mean, from my perspective, like if she's like a singer, she's, premiering in Victoria's Secret and everything, she's like an industry plant. Is she about to drop an album or what's kind of her projection here with
right. Like,
with
what
new
is
singles
that's a
and
good
things like
point.
that?
Why is she,
Yeah.
right? Why are they picking up on her? Are they? And again, it's not like no one knows her. She has 40 million followers. We'll see what's coming from her.
She's playing the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce angle, probably something along those lines. She's
I mean,
like, "Oh,
write it when you
that looked like a
can.
good fit."
Yeah, exactly. Monday was a sports equinox, the only day in 2025 where all four major sports leagues have games the same day. That's really cool. NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, and only the 32nd time that that's ever happened in history. Great games, with World Series being most interesting for that night. So, Blue Jays are leading this series 3-2 after last night as they go back to Toronto. And this is going to be the most expensive sporting event to ever have taken place in Canada. That's crazy. World Series game 5. Well, no, 6.
Do you have a preference? Have we talked about that?
I'm gonna go. I would like to see the Dodgers, I guess, but I like George Springer. He was a previous Astros player, and I love the catcher for the Blue Jays, Alejandro Kirk. Okay, I think I was like fascinated. He can hit the ball. He's the catcher, but he can absolutely crush the ball. And he's this chubby 5'8", 245-pound Mexican from Tijuana,
Yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah.
And yes. And so for Blue Jays, obviously after they hit a home run, they put on their blazer. He doesn't even try to put it on. One time he kind of slid it on his arm, but he knows that it's not going to fit him. So he doesn't
He's
even
gonna
put
be
it
like
on. I love
walking.
it. So, and I love Otani. I'm kind of fascinated with his whole story and all of that. But so overall, it's kind of split. I don't have a huge preference, but I guess I would say Dodgers. What about you?
I mean, obviously, I'm from Orange County. I lived in LA for 10 years of my lifetime, so I should prefer the Dodgers. However, every single time I went to a Dodgers game, I was very underwhelmed. I didn't feel safe when I was going to the games. It's an interesting crowd, an aggressive crowd, and the stadium isn't like as clean either. So I'm used to going up to the Anaheim Angel Stadium where we
Hmm.
were trained, and it was like a classy event where it's a little bit different over at the Dodgers Stadium. My boss is actually the biggest, Toronto Blue Jays fan in the entire world. He's in Toronto. Kevin, this is for you. I'm rooting for them.
I love it. And Kevin and Drake. Drake was there
Hell
repping his driving in his custom diamond chain with
yeah.
have you seen it's this massive diamond chain with the Toronto Raptor wrapped around in the Blue Jay. But yeah, you know that he'll be out there representing. And Justin Bieber, he's a Toronto Blue Jays fan.
He is. He is. I saw him.
He was yeah, and he wasn't gonna pretend to be a Dodgers fan, so I'll give him that.
No, he didn't know.
Monday night's game, absolutely insane. 18 innings, 6 hours and 39 minutes, 609 pitches.
Hell
Tied
of a
for the
game.
longest game in World Series history. I went to sleep at a reasonable hour and the game was still going. I woke up at 1:30 and I naturally checked my phone just to see who had won, and it was like
Still
18th
going on.
inning.
Yeah.
18th inning. I'm like, what? And I didn't want to get too invested, so I didn't even turn on. I just had checked it. I couldn't believe it. And then obviously saw that Freddie Freeman walks it off for the Dodgers just to turn around and play again. Unbelievable.
That's good old fashioned competition right there. So
It really
everybody
is,
had to
and
appreciate it.
my favorite part about it is just seeing the celebrations after the fact was Otani, uh, Yamamoto, and Roki, and the translators all celebrating in the outfield, just hugging each other and jumping up and
Yeah.
down. And this is going to not sound very educated of me, but I didn't know how much English Otani actually spoke because he always has his translator answering all the questions for him, and he speaks Japanese.
Mhm.
And of course he speaks English, but I guess they just do it as a kind of formality just so that nothing gets, mixed or, words don't get scrambled. But I just left it at they're out there celebrating with the translators.
It was, yeah, always good to see. And then was it Yamamoto that was cleaning up the like dugout afterwards?
Yes, after the win, so much respect, just cleaning up the dugout and the Otani's out there. People are like, oh, he's still the water boy and he's, making water for everyone. I love them. They're the class act. And Otani's just setting records left and right. First player with
Yeah.
4 extra base hits in World Series games since 1906, on top of multiple other things. And then the Dodgers for the 2024 season were the first MLB team to gross $1 billion in annual revenue. That's unbelievable. Sellout crowds. They had a massive TV deal, a few years back that just keeps paying out. And now one of the most dominant franchises in sports, rivaling the Yankees. I mean, it really is an incredible story and brand. And then obviously
Well,
Otani helped a lot to that. And all these teams that let him go or passed him up, I must be thinking like, what in the world? Like, we wish we could have done that, but he was paid $700 million by the Dodgers. They recouped that in 1 year by having him on the team. That's unbelievable. 1 year.
I think that's, yeah, good business there,
Paid for
you're
itself
making
and
the
more.
money, yeah, you get paid, so that's, yeah, it's a good example of that.
Very. Okay. And then one very confusing part to this World Series, the Jonas Brothers. I
I
mean,
did not know they were still performing.
I didn't either, have not really heard of them being relevant for a little bit. They literally delayed game 2 of the World Series as part of this stand up to cancer cause. Obviously, a great cause. They were doing it to honor their dad who battled cancer, but I've never seen anything like that. And what a terrible performance. After the 5th inning, they just basically shifted the cameras, no was on the field, and had them perform one song. Like, so weird. I'm literally was like, did the channel get changed? Is this the correct channel? Like, what is going on? And not to mention the people that were standing around the little stage couldn't have looked less, intrigued, other than it's the Jonas Brothers. I don't even know if anyone even knew the song. It was so bizarre.
Yeah, I can't even name one of their songs. I
I don't know how they were chosen. The MLB is actually founding donors to stand up for cancer, which is great. I get the cause, love that MLB is involved, understand the positioning and wanting them to do that. But a little bit of a delay of the game and the Jonas Brothers, I think it left fans very confused, as it did for me.
just looked it up. I do know "Sucker," their number one hit song.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And obviously very popular, but just interesting pick. The viewership for the first 2 games were down from last year in the US. However, in Japan, there were 10.7 million viewers, the most viewed World Series game ever in Japan, and 6.8 million Canadians tuned into the games, which is 1/6 of Canada's population. That's crazy. Most watched Blue Jays games ever. That's pretty cool.
And I can tell you, I work with a lot of Canadians, and they've never been prouder to be from Canada after all this.
They're gonna yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the Canadians, if they pull this one out, they're gonna hold on to it for a while.
What else they got? But they got baseball right now,
They've
so
got
there you go.
baseball right now. Yeah, exactly.
And maple syrup.
Uh, and maple syrup. Kai Trump, who we love, is going to make her
Oh.
LPGA debut at the Annika, which is Annika Sorenstam's tournament, which takes place in Florida at Pelican Golf Club, November 13th through 16th. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how she does. She's obviously committed to University of Miami next year. She received her sponsor exemption for the event on Tuesday. She seems super excited to get that. It's a 3.25 million dollar purse, one of the stronger tournaments and fields of the year for the LPGA in general. I'm curious to see how she does.
She does well. I watch her TikToks and her videos, and she's a really, really good athlete, and golf is very tricky, and she's really good at her craft, and obviously her mother is dating Tiger Woods, so maybe, she'll get
Yes.
to practice in, his practice course in the backyard, so hopefully that'll help out.
Exactly. And she goes to school and plays with Charlie, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah,
I'm assuming maybe that's how,
they
Tiger
met.
and her mom met.
Yeah.
But I really like her. I enjoyed watching her. Same thing. I hope she's successful. You can have all the money in the world, you can have all these things. Your grandfather can be the president, but it does not give you talent. So I
No, it
will give her
doesn't.
credit for her work ethic and her talent and the way that she presents herself. She launched her brand, obviously. I think it's good. It's also something that we talked about too. She's obviously playing as an amateur, can't take any
Mhm.
money or else she'd lose the amateur status. But right now, she's not getting anything from University of Miami other than committing. I mean, and I don't think she's going to win. It's again back to the topic of there's all this NIL, everything else going on. What would be so terrible if she won the tournament and took the money? I just don't get that. And then Caitlin Clark, who's an avid golfer, she played in the Pro-Am of the Annika last year, and she's set to return as well. She's actually very good. I've seen, again, clips of her. I've never obviously seen her play a full round, but that's kind of fun.
No, I actually love that because obviously I feel like basketball does not translate to golf at all. So that's just having pure athletics. So God
Yeah,
bless her
pure
to know.
athletics, pure talent. So we'll give her that. And speaking of golf, so I was in Florida for the past week, which again, sorry, fans, that we were
Wendy,
not here last week. That was my fault. But Saturday, I saw Michael Jordan teeing off on the course. And I was just thinking to myself, I was just walking by and he was on the tee box with his caddies. And I'm thinking, how happy were those caddies to learn that that was who the round was with for the day? I mean,
I mean,
how fun would
that's
that be?
that'd be a hell of a
I
round
mean, an
right there.
incredible round. I'm sure they get tipped amazingly. And I'm not a big celebrity person, athlete, person that's gonna anyone's really
Run up and
gonna.
take some pics.
No, 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 I would never do that, and regardless of who it is, but, I mean, he's next level to me. Michael Jordan, Roger Federer, I would probably faint, and Kate Middleton. Those are my people.
Oh my god, yeah, Kate Middleton for me. I mean,
I
that'll,
mean, absolutely stunning perfection. The way she carries herself,
stunning.
educated, I just think she is so proper. And again, I would never ever go up to any of these people, so no, I didn't, try to get closer to
Fangirling
them.
over there, Lauren.
Yeah, exactly, but he's a goat in my mind. I love him, but I've gotta say, his life of leisure after basketball, he's put on a few pounds. He's massive. Obviously stature and height. He's filled out a little and just I mean, he's just huge. Solid golfer. Puts that time in on the course. Of course, had his cigar hanging out of his mouth, so kinda fun.
Seems like, basketball's translated into golf now, so I gotta pick up
Exactly,
the game.
exactly. Keeping up with the trends, you gotta get your clubs out.
Damn, I know, they're a little rusty right now, but
And then in your neck of the woods this weekend, Breeders' Cup at Del Mar.
yes, and we will most likely go tomorrow. It's awesome because literally right in front of my house, there's a train. You get on the train, everybody's partying. They've got their hats. It's fantastic. It's like a 30-minute train ride down to Del Mar. You get off. So I'm looking forward to that.
So fun. Seems like a great setup. Obviously, weather will be perfect. It's a race for 3-year-olds, 3 years and up. The favorite, Sovereignty, was recently flown in from Saratoga and has been scratched from the race. Unfortunately, Bill Mott, his trainer, said that he had spiked a fever and was not well enough to race. So they withdrew him, which is too bad after making that long track. And I like to fight NYRA, which is the New York Racing Association. And they post a lot, obviously, about Sovereignty and who's been at the stables and Saratoga and training there, and just a beautiful horse. I'm fascinated by racehorses.
Of
They are
course.
just so sleek and so
Mhm.
powerful and so amazing.
No,
It's a full operation.
yeah, no, my best friend from college, who's actually now dating my cousin, and they just announced they're expecting a little baby girl. Shout out Mackenzie and Taylor.
Oh,
But Taylor's uncle's horse is racing tomorrow, so that's why we're gonna try to check that out and see how he does. He told me some inside scoop. The first two races we're rooting for, or we're gonna bet on, Seismic Beauty and Ben Tornado. And then he said in the premier race, he's rooting for Nevada Beach to be the long shot. So that could be a big bet. That could be a big win right there.
all right. Place your bets. Well, that'll be fun. Hopefully, you guys can get out there. For the Breeders' Cup, there's 14 horses are the maximum starters allowed. With Sovereignty out of the field this year, there'll probably most likely be 9 to 10 horses. So it'll still be a fun race, but it's such a popular race, such a beautiful race track.
It's stunning. Literally, you can see the ocean. It's 75 and beautiful right now here in October in Southern California. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of the races that the owners, trainers, everyone, jockeys look forward to, just given the location. F1, we're going to rewind a little bit since we missed out after the big F1 COTA week here in Austin. So, as we talked about last episode, Apple acquired Formula One broadcasting rights for a 5-year deal, making all the races available on Apple TV. That deal is finalized. There are more F1 films in the works after the success of the last one, starring Brad Pitt. So that's kind of cool. We'll see a lot more there. I just feel again, F1 again trending with all other sports, but it's just, ramping up more and more and more.
Wait,
Landon Norris.
before we
Okay.
get into, oh no, previous, I was going to just mention, did you see for the Las Vegas who's the music performer there?
No.
It's the Disney band.
What?
It's the most, like, I don't even
Is that
know
a
where,
joke?
no, Disney performing for
Okay.
them.
This is why Vegas is starting to fail. Like,
What direction are we going here, guys? Like, that is absurd. But anyway,
but
sorry, I had
also
to.
on brand, it's Vegas.
This is just cheesy, right?
Cheesy, cheesy, cheesy.
I
Yes.
mean,
Oh my
I
gosh.
do love
Imagine
Disneyland.
being Max Verstappen and having the Disney band.
Getting fired up to Mickey Mouse. Woo!
Yeah. Dream big, right?
Anyway,
That is hilarious. That is a
I
fun
know.
fact. Yeah, we're gonna have to
I had to circle back, but
really see how that goes. So Landon Norris won in Mexico City. I can assure you there's a lot more culture going on and celebration down there than what we're gonna have in Vegas. But Landon won there. Max Verstappen won here at COTA. And then did you see the crash on turn one at Coda.
Yeah, yeah, and that wasn't pretty. It was, yeah, the
It
sprint.
was not pretty, added so much excitement. Again, hate to see anyone crash and for cars to be, out on the spot, but we called out that turn as being a tough one, and it proved to
It
be
is. That
provided
first turn.
excitement. Again, both McLaren cars were just done, but right on that turn, on turn 1, there's gonna be a private members club that's being built, scheduled to be completed in 2027. I've seen the renderings are amazing and will really amp up the hospitality and kind of the scene. Also, they've extended their contract to hold the race, so all of that's good. But skydeck, pools, there's going to be a gondola, simulators, year-round access. I mean, there's so many events at the track. It's not just F1 once a year. So many different driving
I
experiences and
heard
things.
yeah, I heard wasn't there, like, a little birdie that said that Joe Rogan is actually moving his podcast over by the, like, hypercar garages and Billionaire Row is what they're calling
Yes,
it, or
I
something along those
did
lines?
hear that. I did
I
hear
mean,
that,
that
and I
would be
don't.
pretty cool.
And some of it, yeah, I mean, they did a big push to sell those, kind of essentially condos for cars and
Mhm,
offices and everything out there. So I did hear that he was planning to, and I'm sure he has multiple studios, but kind of good press to have at the track.
mhm.
Then we have the Brazilian Grand Prix coming up on November 9th. That'll be the next race. We just threw Vegas out there. We're talking about Mexico City. To me, it is unbelievable to think about the logistics of not only the city setting up for these races and getting the events and everything ready, the infrastructure, but the teams having to coordinate shipping their cars, their equipment, transporting all their team members, hotel, transportation once they arrive. The planning and money that go into these races is next level.
I think F1 has always been, yeah, the most, like, luxurious sport. I feel like everybody who's racing has grown up with money, and it's it's expensive. It's not
It's
cheap.
just an expensive stuff all around for the team owner. It's I mean, it's kinda the same thing as, horse racing. Ship the horses around and all, it's
Ex
just unbelievable. And so the cap for the 2025 season is about $135 million for the teams, and then there's all these outliers and expenses that don't get put into that cap. And driver and executive salaries are 2 of the things that are not part of that, and the numbers are just staggering. So, looked into a little bit more, but shipping for the season is about $8 million per season, just alone for shipping the cars and the systems. Drivers about $80 million per year. Top executives get paid about $50 million a year. Fuel is almost $3 million a year. I mean, it is a big business and so many things that, again, a lot of spectators and fans probably don't think about as far as the business side. They just, I like the race, I like the drivers, I like the cars. But there's just so much that goes into it that fascinates me.
I think F1 became more of a recent popular sport due to Drive to Survive. Growing up on it and, like, understanding it, like, there's so much more than just, like, the drivers, than Verstappen and Lando and all those
Right, the
guys.
flash that comes with it, just the
Yeah,
teams and
I'm
the
like, the
managers and it's
engineers behind these
yes,
cars, like, if you don't have a good car, I don't care how good of a driver you are, you ain't winning,
that's
I
exactly
think
right.
those are the most important people, and, like, there's just so much that goes into this sport. It's such a team sport, and I think people really look at it as, like, a individual contributor sport, but there's so much more behind the scenes.
There is, and the team and the engineers are talking to them the entire way,
Ex
telling them what to
Yeah.
do and the
They're like, "Slow the
tires
fuck
and
down."
exactly, exactly, and what to do, and then, the pit crews, when they change those tires, that to me, again, is just absolutely fascinating that how quickly they can pull into the pit, get the
It's
tires on and off.
crazy. It is
It is crazy.
it's just
Yeah,
like
and you're right, that is
that's
a
a
full-on
unique
team sport.
yeah, unique skill. I love it so much.
I agree. A lot of different facets. Okay, shifting to the NBA, there are 4 teams that remain undefeated: Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Philadelphia, and Chicago. Good for them. And 3 of these teams missed the playoffs last season. That's pretty good stats to turn around from not making the playoffs and then start your season out strongly. Always love to
Right.
see it. Who's your basketball team?
Lakers?
I don't Of
It's LeBron
course, but we're waiting
minus
for them.
LeBron.
We're waiting for LeBron to get exactly. Yeah, of
I mean,
course.
that's the easy answer.
Yes.
Obviously, yeah, I grew up here and everything, but I
You
guess
just
that's
gotta
my
prove to
traditional.
sell.
Well,
Hope maybe
so
that'll help things, you never know.
oh,
I agree. Then playoff basketball versus regular season. There are so many games in the regular season. It's like baseball for me. There are just so many games. I keep up enough to know who's relevant and who's playing well and what teams are doing well, what's going on. But I really don't invest too much time until the playoffs. And then I think it gets really fun. But I agree with you. I prefer watching college overall. But I always think the playoffs are fun.
I think once you get pro, I mean, obviously they're a completely different level from college, but pro, I feel like they're not trying as hard. Like, they're just, like, cruising up and down, and, like, they're just
No,
so
I
big
agree.
and,
It's
like,
less
where
physical. It used to
basketball.
be so
Yeah.
physical, again, back to the
Yep,
Jordan days and,
yep, your scrappy little.
Kobe.
Yeah, yeah, the full 9, so
It's
it's,
changed a lot, but I do think they ramp it up for the playoffs to some degree, which again, I think just overall makes it, and they're probably trying to avoid injuries and all. There's so much, but we've got a lot to dive into for basketball this episode.
that's exciting.
Yeah. So Wemby's taking over headlines for his performances. He's unbelievable. When they played the Mavericks, it was Cooper Flagg's debut game. So I was kind of interested, obviously tuned into that. I thought the Mavericks would
Mhm.
win based on Cooper Flagg. Then Wemby was like a one-man show. I mean, just incredible to watch. So talented, absolutely massive. 21 years old. I hope he stays healthy. Obviously, he had his injury last season, and just keeps showing up. He's crazy to watch. More drama in the NBA. The gambling investigation continues. The weirdest thing ever. The league is under serious scrutiny after 30 federal indictments involving alleged gambling influence and connections with prominent figures, the mafia ties. I mean, you can't even make this story up. Chauncey Billups, the Trailblazers coach, Terry Rozier, two of the ones that were on the list of indictments. Off-court issues remain a major focus, for the NBA, and the story definitely affects the league's reputation, their policies, the player operations. Like, what in the world? They're
Really?
two very different schemes. One of them was rigged underground poker games, and I think that's the one that Chauncey Billups was pulled into, allegedly backed by mafia families, raked in
Mhm.
millions and millions of dollars. And these, the tables were kind of like x-rays. You could see the cards, all the games were fixed, and people were entering the games being told that they were going to have a chance to play with these NBA greats and sit next to them, whatever, and totally rigged. And then the second was sports betting, misuse of non public information via players, coaches to bet on game outcomes and player performance. I mean, I don't even know what it would have taken to unravel all of this. But as a fan, you do lose trust if betting and rigging and leaking are leaking into professional games. Credibility of the NBA competition in general is at stake.
I tend to agree. We talked about the gambling last time and things along those lines. Hey, you can't bet on your own team or, because you got a little stake in the game, but it's there's a lot of blurred lines there. So I don't know how
Well,
to
and how
how
do
to
you even keep track of it all? Like this
it's
Rozier, part of it was he was said, told people he was going to fake a foot injury and leave the game early. Well, yeah, that's going to set off gambling, odds and numbers and
yeah.
everything else that other people would not have information on.
No, and
It's
that's
hard
yeah,
to monitor.
it's like insider trading right there.
They're gonna have to. I mean, they're gonna have
Blurred
to change
lines.
the regulatory effects in general from it. Like, will there be stricter oversights? Are there gonna be new protocols? Are there gonna be changes in how betting is handled and injury information and when that's announced, how it's announced, who's told? There's just so many things that I think it would be a really, really tough thing to monitor.
I agree.
The league has grown their business model to partner with major legal sports betting entities, which obviously is profitable to them both ways. But this could make tension with that growth. I mean, if the actual legal sports betting companies are going to start questioning what's going on inside the NBA with players and coaches and any involvement of insiders, that's a huge risk. So it'll be really interesting to see how that shakes out, and I'm sure it's gonna be an ongoing and developing story for a while, but
Yeah, I
you hate
mean,
to
you
see it. For, like, a Chauncey Billups has had such a good reputation, such an amazing coaching career. When you're getting dragged into this stuff, do people not, like, double click to see what they're actually getting involved in and what could be at stake for them? He had to know to some point it was all rigged and fake. You're doing something wrong. Like, is it worth giving up
people
your
always think the
millions and
best.
millions of dollars that you get paid from coaching to get paid, I'm sure not that much via mafia families? And people are like, okay, well, did they have something on him? Were they threatening him? Those are the things that you just don't know. But extortion is illegal. So if that was going on,
That
then
is.
he could have gone and told somebody.
I mean, I didn't even know the mafias were still around, but here
They
we
sure
are.
are, and that is another
That's
thing that
so fun.
absolutely fascinates me. Back to my
It
New York
really
roots.
yeah, I
Gangsters,
was gonna
mafia,
say.
mob, I love it. Some of those
But
shows on the crime families, like, that just so old school, and I mean, you even back to, like, Rat Packs, Frank Sinatra and all those guys, like,
yeah,
they all had ties to all that back then.
it really, really is a fascinating topic.
Picture them sitting around listening to their music, smoking their, cigars, and just
Cigars.
being on in on all of it with the police and
Yeah, they're
everyone.
like, "We run this fucking town." Like, it's
Exactly.
awesome.
College football, got some good games coming up. Texas A&M is 8-0, their best start since 1994. Even win against LSU and the demise of Brian Kelly, unfortunately for him. But I'm actually really proud. They had a really bad season last year. They've turned it around. So, and I know I said it the last couple times, but I'm just counting down the days till Thanksgiving, day after Thanksgiving, when they come here to Texas.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Texas on the road versus Mississippi State, come back win in overtime, 45-38. They deserve to lose that game so badly. Like, I was getting so frustrated that Mississippi State didn't win. They deserve to win, but also good for Texas for coming back. But Arch
I
obviously got
know.
hit. He was out under concussion protocol. Seems like he practiced this week. So hopefully he's back and ready to take on Pavia and Vanderbilt this weekend.
Well, I mean, they came back in overtime and everything, and I mean, does Texas actually need Arch? I love Arch.
Did you see he got pulled over? It was kind of funny. There
Oh,
were all
I
these like
did!
pictures of him like pulling up whatever on his phone and his black Denali. In my mind, I'm
I
like,
was excited for
poor
it too.
little guy. I love him. I'm just having my real soft spot for him. I'm like, did he actually get a ticket? Did he get a warning? Does he say
I
I'm
I
March
don't
Manning? Like, what does he say?
he's had a concussion, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. We blame confusion from the
Yeah.
concussion. And then there was all this speculation and whirlwind around the game of Sark going to the NFL and would even be open to the Titans coaching position. That probably had to bring a lot of tension and, in the locker room and players wondering what's going on if there was truth to that. He's probably has it in his head going into that game. So I've got to say, I'm glad they did pull it out. A win is a win, terrible as it was, but he slammed the media in his post game interview, saying that he respects what they do, but he just doesn't like it that somebody can put a statement out there, then they take one story and just run with it. So he had to have his representatives, which he said has never happened before, from CAA, put out a statement saying it was untrue, that he doesn't have any interest, wasn't open to it. But I think that's questionable. I mean, someone must have had to say something, would be my speculation. And maybe somebody, obviously what didn't have to be Sark, but put feelers out there to see if any NFL teams would bite. I would just think there has to be some validity to it.
I mean, from my perspective, the University of Texas job seems a lot better than the Tennessee Titans at this point. I don't know how the Peach Lady of football would feel about it, but I mean, because University of Texas, there's obviously a lot of hype around it, the energy and everything, and Tennessee Titans for a, pro team, I don't know. That just doesn't seem like a big, like, promotion to me if in his eyes. So I don't know
Well,
what happened
plus,
there.
L'Oreal can't leave. Her housewives are here.
No,
When is
oh,
she,
that's right.
when is
Yeah.
she gonna go? She can't be picking
We'll
up
be
and
doing
leaving her
long
housewives.
distance.
She'll be zooming in for the games as first lady of football.
Just another, housewife other than that, so.
Yeah. So, but to your point, I think also coaching in college has changed so dramatically. Again, with the things that we mentioned earlier, the same things that I was saying that, John Gruden was saying with the NIL transfer portal, recruiting, all of these extra things that these head coaches have on their plates that didn't used to be. And it takes away from them focusing on their actual job. And I feel like Saban probably to some extent was feeling that. I mean, he'd been so successful. I mean, winning so many championships at Alabama. And then you kind of just get into this whole new way of doing things and different things to focus on. I'm sure it's part of the reason why he retired, like
Mhm.
not completely, but probably some of it. They're all things you have to consider. And coaching in the NFL is probably now even more desirable if, as a coach, you do just want to focus on coaching and not navigating a totally new landscape and kind of a still evolving landscape in the collegiate world.
Yeah, I definitely think it brings in a lot of, like, outside noise, so it's not just about football, it's not just about playing on the field, like, there's just so much more that goes into it,
Totally. And
which
donors and all of that, like
yeah,
personalities you have to manage. Like you don't do that in the NFL.
exactly. Yeah, because now you're basically, like, kind of a business, so I mean, you've always been a business, but now you're more of a business, I guess.
I agree with that. And then Michigan State, always a rivalry. Michigan pulled it out. Their streak now against Michigan State is now 4. It's longest since 2011, so good for them. We like
Yeah,
Michigan.
sure. Michigan State.
Oklahoma, Ole Miss. Ole Miss took down Oklahoma. Utah crushed Colorado. Poor Dion. 53-7. Not much you can really say about that.
No, it's not great, but I'm not mad
That's
about that at all, so.
yeah, exactly. And then we've got USC, Nebraska this weekend. What are your thoughts there?
Well, my grandpa, he actually coached. He was an assistant men's basketball coach at the University of Nebraska. So we're big Cornhusker fans. I obviously went to USC. It's just a classic, huge football schools playing. I think USC's only played at Nebraska twice. I want to say once in the 60s and then once like 20-ish years ago. So again, both epic football schools. I'm super excited to
Yeah.
watch the matchup. Yeah, this is a game I've waited a long time to watch. So I'm excited for them.
So
But
fun.
go
Yeah, it'll be
SC,
a big
obviously.
game. Yes. And Vanderbilt coming to Texas, big game. This will be their best home game so far. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see what Diego Pavia has to say in his interviews about this one. But this will be an interesting game for both of them. So I hope Arch is back and feeling well and steps back up.
Because the police run in didn't scare
Rattle
him.
him. Yeah,
Rattled him a little bit.
exactly. And that head of his.
Yeah.
NFL. Okay, bye bye, Scattaboo. Season ending injury, and he was just getting started. I hate to
Mm,
see that for anyone, but I just loved him and Jackson Dart's little duo. And as he was getting carted off, Jackson Dart went over and gave him his little headbutt like they do, which I thought was
mm.
cute. And then he underwent surgeries, out for the season. Needless to
No,
say, they lost to the Eagles after that.
that's a big bummer.
It really is. Again, hate to see it for everyone, but I mean, something like that, I mean, could have potentially ended his, career. And he's just so
Yeah.
physical.
No,
It was probably
definitely.
only just a matter of time until he got injured. And thankfully it wasn't worse. But my favorite part of the terrible story was Scat had a little surprise visitor in the hospital. The Eagles' one and only chief of security, Dom DeSandro, brought him pizza and cheesesteaks. What a guy. He does it
Ha
all.
hasn't he been in trouble, like, fined by the NFL a couple
Yes.
times? I don't
There was a
He's
little,
always up to something.
scuttle yeah, there was a little scuttle with, I think it was a 49ers, player, and they both got taken out, and but I moved on from it. I mean, he's a very popular figure within the Eagles organization and to
Yeah.
fans. He joined the organization in '99, bounced around in roles like player liaison, security support, helped travel, logistics, and then eventually shifted to full security. I mean, he's a big guy. But neat story. He was just a local Philly kid, grew up
Yeah.
diehard, fly Eagles fly, and got in as a dedicated staffer. And yeah, he's still there. But yes, he has made the news a few times for some not so positive things, but he finds his way back. And he
What a
shows up
legend.
with cheesesteak and pizza when it matters for scat. So gotta
Oh,
love
yeah.
him. The Philly thing to do. Then Wild lost week before Giants to the Broncos. We're up 26-8 with a little over 5 minutes left, and the Broncos came back and won 33-32. I mean, it was a crazy, crazy game. Another bad loss for my Giants. I heard Eli Manning say that his son Charlie is going to dress up as Jackson Dart for Halloween. How cute is that?
That is
So
actually
Peyton was
but
giving
only
him
for
a hard
Halloween.
only for Halloween, yeah. So Peyton was giving him a hard time, like, "Oh, he's dressing up as another giant." So Eli said they had gotten him a chain like Jackson Dart wears, and Charlie had been wanting to wear it to school every day, and Eli was like, "No, this is just for Halloween. You can wear it for one day." But it was cute, and Jackson Dart was obviously flattered and thought it was cool that Charlie wanted to be him for Halloween.
I mean, yeah, I would think that would be awesome. Are you kidding me? So, yeah.
Right, yeah, little kids wanting to dress up with you, especially, Eli Manning's son. I think it's
Yeah.
great. Classic.
I think you wanna be
Jets
like
got their
dad.
first win of the season over the Bengals. Good for them. Broncos got crushed by the Cowboys, 44-24. They are so hot and cold. I don't get it. Chair. So I had to look into this America's Game of the Week because obviously I am fixated on Cowboys being America's team and questioning that whole thing. Cowboys seem to have that placement a lot. So America's Game of the Week is the nationally televised kind of late afternoon game. It's usually around like 3:25 on Fox, and it reaches the majority of the country. So the Cowboys, America's team, get this slot more than any other NFL team 8 to 10 times a season because year after year they get the highest TV ratings in the NFL. Is that not wild?
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I guess it fits. America's team and America's Game of the Week 8 to 10 times a season, more than any other team, obviously. I think the Chiefs are up there, maybe the Packers for that slot as well. And then Chiefs beat the Commanders Monday night in that game. And there's some good matchups this weekend. So let's go over those. I'll let you do the picks. Ready?
Edge of my seat. We got Ravens versus Dolphins. Dolphins had a good game last week, but I'm gonna go Ravens.
I like it.
49ers versus Giants. 49ers. Nothing
I
too
know,
exciting
sadly.
there. Chargers versus the Titans. I'm gonna go Chargers there.
Easy one.
Yeah, yeah. Then we got the Vikings versus Lions. Vikings still wish they had Sam Darnold, so I'm gonna go Lions.
I think
And
the
then
Lions are going to win. And Aiden Hutchinson just secured his 4-year extension and the biggest guaranteed deal for a non quarterback ever at $140 million. Good for him.
I mean, that's great. That's fantastic. So, then next we have Falcons versus the Patriots. So they're playing well. I mean, I'll go Patriots for sure. Then Colts versus the Steelers. The Colts are on fire, but they haven't played like a lot of tough teams, and they also have like the woman owner, so I think that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna go Colts.
That's
And
so
then
cool. I don't understand why so many people are questioning that. She owns the
it's
team. If she wants to be involved and she wants to put in that time and she knows what she's doing.
every
I
right
just
to be there.
every single right, and she is doing it in a classy, respectful. She owns the
Mhm.
team. She can do whatever she wants, and I admire her for not just
Yeah,
taking the seat of, okay, well, this team was essentially, handed to me via family, and I'm going to sit back. I mean, for her to be hands-on and out there, I really admire and respect her for that, and they have the results to show it.
I couldn't agree more.
People can question that all day long, but I love that for her.
Absolutely. Yeah, so go Colts. Come on. Next we have
Agreed.
Broncos versus the Texans. I'm gonna go Broncos. Then we have Bears versus Bengals. I think both teams are terrible, so I think it's gonna be a terrible game, but I'm gonna go Bears.
Agree with that. Terrible game, not great teams, but go Bears.
Then I'm gonna go or then we have Panthers versus Packers. Packers by a massacre.
Cheeseheads.
Saints versus Rams. Well, Spencer Rattler, he just lost his starting position, so I'm gonna go Rams.
Let's do it.
And then we have Jaguars versus Raiders. Jags because their defense I think is a little bit better. They're the Chiefs versus Bills. I say Bills. I'd like to see them win.
I agree. Go Bills. Sorry,
Then we have
Taylor.
this. Sorry, Taylor. We have the Seahawks versus the Commanders. Commanders need to go back to Redskins, their native tribe
They
name and
do.
everything. I mean, go Sam Darnold too. He's obviously my favorite.
Yes.
And then last but not least, we have the Cardinals versus the Cowboys. Jerry Jones, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to go Cardinals.
Sorry, Jer. Heartbreak in Dallas. Don't worry, your TV ratings are still going to be prime. Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for being here with us. We will be back next week. Don't forget to follow us, social media. Let us know what you want to hear. We're going to get some guests coming up. So we're going to go over those and we'll let you know next week what we're thinking for that. Brogan, do you have any sign
I know.
offs?
Yeah, I was like, I know we're super exciting. Always good to chit chat with y'all. And yeah, looking forward to next week.
Like, follow, and subscribe. Two girls, one ticket. You can see more of Brogan running on the beach.
Your ticket to run.
Your ticket to run. I love it. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.